Claude Opus 4.7, GPT 5.5,
Yeah.
GPT 5.5 Instant, Gemini 3.5 Flash, Gemini Omni Flash,
Yeah.
all dropping in just over a month.
Yeah.
Looking at this timeline, it is honestly overwhelming.
Totally.
The AI world is moving incredibly fast. It is moving so fast it feels paralyzing.
It is beat. It is a very real feeling. You know, people get so overwhelmed by the sheer volume of releases.
Right.
They just freeze up entirely. They stop trying to keep pace.
Welcome to the deep dive. Our mission today is very clear. We are going to cut through the noise.
We really have to.
We must stop the endless tool chasing right now. We are breaking down the 2026 AI roadmap.
We need to map out what actually works in the real world, not just the daily social media hype. We have to look at practical, functional application.
Exactly. We will map out exactly where you should start. We are exploring 3 distinct levels today.
Basic, intermediate, and advanced.
Right. Basic focuses heavily on deep prompting. Intermediate covers background AI workflows. And advanced dives into agentic engineering.
It is quite the journey.
But before you build complex systems, before you build things that work while you sleep, you have to build a bulletproof foundation. And that starts with rethinking how you actually talk to these models.
Most people approach the chat window completely backwards. They treat it kind of like a standard search engine.
So level 1 is the foundation. We are moving away from basic, dumb queries. We need highly structured, intentional prompting.
Yeah.
We need to actively curate a tight tool stack. And we must hedge our personal financial risk.
That last point always catches people off guard. It is a critical piece of the puzzle.
We will dig into the money aspect shortly. But let's look at prompting mechanics first. A weak prompt is essentially useless.
Completely.
You type something like, write an email to my boss asking for a day off.
You will get pure, generic garbage back. It sounds like a soulless robot wrote it. There is zero context for the model to work with.
It is like delegating a critical task to a brand new intern. You just bark a simple command with no background information.
Yeah, that never works.
You cannot possibly expect a good result. You need what we call a deep prompt.
You have to constrain the model's focus. You must assign them a specific role first.
Right.
Something like act as a seasoned professional marketing manager. That sets the behavioral guardrails right away.
Then you give them exact, clear details. Email David regarding Friday, May 29th. Tell him the monthly conversion report is completely finished.
And finally, you define the exact output format. Create a clear, professional subject line. Write in very short, punchy paragraphs. Keep the overall tone friendly but concise.
The difference in the final output is night and day. It gives you something you can actually send.
Exactly.
But even with good structure, it is tough. I still wrestle with prompt drift myself. Keeping the AI on track during long, multi-step chats is incredibly hard.
It definitely wanders off over time. The context window gets cluttered with old information. That is exactly why you need a curated core stack. Stop downloading 50 different AI apps on your phone. You need to pick one primary chatbot and learn it deeply.
Let's break down the big 3 right now. Claude is fantastic for dense coding and long-form writing. Its architecture holds onto large documents really well.
Right.
ChatGPT handles general reasoning and voice interaction perfectly. Gemini integrates deeply and seamlessly with your existing Google Workspace apps.
Pick just one of those based on your daily needs. Then add a dedicated research tool to your stack.
Like Perplexity.
Yeah, Perplexity is amazing for finding real-time facts.
Yeah.
It cites actual sources, which severely limits random hallucinations. Learn their keyboard shortcuts inside and out.
That covers the daily tactical tools you need. But there is a much bigger macroeconomic picture here. We need to seriously look at AI financial exposure.
This is huge.
You have to look at your daily job and your long-term money together. I want to circle back to that specifically. Why do people ignore the financial exposure aspect of AI?
Because they view AI purely as a productivity software. They completely miss its macroeconomic impact on their specific industry. If your career is at risk from AI, you have to balance your personal investments. You cannot be heavily overinvested in tech stocks if tech is automating your livelihood.
So treat AI as an economic shift, not just a software update. Beat.
Precisely. You have to insulate your personal wealth from your industry's disruption.
That brings us to level 2, intermediate workflows and personal knowledge management. Your daily foundation is solid now. Your prompts are sharp and highly constrained, but you eventually hit a hard ceiling answering single questions.
You could only type so fast on a keyboard. There are only so many hours in your day.
To scale your output, we have to transition. We stop chatting with AI directly in a browser. We make AI work independently in the background.
This is where we move into autonomous AI agents. It completely changes how you interact with computers.
Agents handle your big overarching goals. You move from single, isolated questions to multi-step tasks.
Instead of asking 5 different sequential questions, you give the system a major, complex directive, like research my top 5 competitors in the email newsletter space.
Find their exact pricing tiers and subscription plans. Summarize the main topics they write about every week. Make a clean, formatted data table for me.
The agent goes off and browses the web automatically. It iteratively searches, reads, and compiles all the pieces. It does all the tedious heavy lifting for you.
But we can take this concept even further. We can create background automations and local workflows.
Yes, connecting different software apps together seamlessly. You can use visual drag-and-drop workflow tools like NN. It does not require you to write complex code.
It is essentially drawing a map for your data. It connects your email directly to an AI reasoning model. Then it connects that model to your private notes app.
Whoa. Imagine waking up and your local agent has already read, sorted, and summarized everything. It categorizes your chaotic inbox while you are still asleep.
It is incredibly powerful to experience that the first time. And for people worried about data leaks, there is a solution.
Yeah, definitely.
You can run private models entirely locally. Using desktop tools like OpenClaw ensures total data safety.
Your data never leaves your actual physical machine. It processes everything using your laptop's own graphical processing unit.
Right.
It stays completely private from the big tech companies.
This directly connects to creating custom knowledge bases. You feed personal or business documents into these specialized tools.
Like Google Notebook LM.
Yeah, that is fantastic for handling messy information. Claude Projects works incredibly well for organizing distinct client files. Custom GPTs are also a very solid option.
It creates a private, deeply informed expert for you, one that won't hallucinate random internet facts to fill gaps.
It is like giving the AI an open book test. You are not relying on its generic, generalized training memory. You are pointing it directly to your exact verified facts.
You tell it to read 20 dense marketing PDFs. You tell it to write a strategy post using only that specific data. It becomes perfectly accurate to your brand's voice.
With all this automation happening, how safe is uploading private company data to these custom knowledge bases?
Well, cloud tools have enterprise privacy toggles, sure, but true data paranoia is why local tools like OpenClaw are becoming essential for intermediate users.
Right.
You bypass the cloud entirely to prevent any theoretical leaks.
For absolute privacy, run the AI locally, keep your data off the cloud. 2-sec silence.
Sponsor.
Welcome back to the deep dive. Let's move to level 3 on our roadmap, advanced business systems and AI coding.
Yeah.
Personal productivity is definitely a massive advantage.
It is a total game changer for an individual contributor.
But to create massive value in the broader world, to truly build a highly resilient, lasting career, we have to bridge a major operational gap.
Absolutely.
We must move from personal workflows to messy, large-scale business operations.
Businesses are incredibly complicated ecosystems. They need absolute reliability to function properly without crashing.
We are talking about building custom agents for business applications, building highly reliable automated back-end systems. Let's look at an HR onboarding agent as an example.
Onboarding is usually a complete administrative mess for everyone involved. A custom agent completely automates the tedious paperwork process.
It notices the exact moment a new hire joins the payroll system. It instantly sends the right localized HR tax forms. It provides 247 interactive handbook support for their immediate questions.
It automatically triggers IT setups for new company emails. It manages the whole workflow from start to finish.
To build something like that, you must connect systems. You need to deeply understand 2 key architectural tools, APIs and MCPs.
Right.
Let's define those clearly right now. An API is a digital waiter carrying data between different software programs.
That is a perfect visual way to picture it. It takes your specific data order to the kitchen. It brings the formatted data back to your application quickly.
And an MCP is a secure bridge, letting AI read private local files safely.
Exactly. That keeps internal company databases totally secure from outside models. It prevents massive data leaks while still allowing internal analysis.
This leads us to the final major skill here, AI coding and the rise of agentic engineering.
Yeah.
This means actually using AI to write real functional software, then using hosting tools like Vercel to launch it live on the internet.
Anyone can build sophisticated web apps right now. You just describe what you want in plain English. The AI generates the interface. It is absolutely amazing.
I have to push back gently on that particular narrative. The source material has a very clear, stark warning.
Oh,
If you don't know basic coding logic, the AI will inevitably make mistakes, and you will be completely stuck, unable to debug or fix them.
that is a very fair, realistic point. You cannot be totally blind to the underlying architecture. You do need to understand the absolute basics of how data flows.
With models writing entire code bases, does this mean traditional software engineers are obsolete?
No, they aren't obsolete at all. But the role shifts dramatically from writing manual syntax to agentic engineering.
Right.
They manage and review the architecture generated by the AI.
Engineers become editors. They manage AI output instead of typing every single line.
They guide the complex system instead of doing the manual labor.
We have mapped out the entire destination today, from level 1 all the way up to level 3. But knowing the destination is completely useless in practice.
If you fall into the common predictable traps along the way.
Let's look at the actual timeline and the top mistakes. Stage 1 takes just days or maybe weeks to master.
Stage 2 takes a few solid weeks to months.
And stages 3 and 4, becoming a true AI engineer. That takes months to years of nonstop dedicated learning.
It is a long marathon, not a quick sprint.
So let's learn to avoid the worst potential mistakes. Mistake number 1 is incredibly common right now, chasing every single new tool that pops up on social media.
You see a flashy new tool demo online, you sign up and use it for 5 minutes, then you completely forget it exists. It is a huge waste of mental energy.
Mistake number 2 is ignoring workflow thinking entirely, asking for one single generated sentence instead of automating a whole repetitive process.
You need to think systematically from start to finish. How does the data logically move through your whole day?
Mistake number 3, confusing curated social media hype with actual robust capability.
Social media makes these models look like pure magic. But AI always requires a layer of human taste. It needs human supervision and constant human correction to be valuable.
Mistake number 4 is waiting too long to start learning. People delay simply because the underlying technology keeps changing so fast.
Well, the knowledge gap just gets wider and wider if you wait. The fundamentals you learn today will apply to tomorrow's models.
Waiting to learn AI until it is perfectly stable, it is like waiting to buy a smartphone until they permanently stop making new ones.
Yeah.
You are just ensuring you get completely left behind by your peers.
You have to start building your foundation today. Use whatever imperfect tool is readily available right now.
What is the real danger of relying entirely on AI without any human supervision?
AI lacks human taste and broad worldly context. Fully unsupervised AI will eventually make a costly, embarrassing error in a complex business setting.
AI provides the raw power, but human taste remains the ultimate quality control.
That is the lens you need for every single output.
We have covered a massive amount of dense information today. Let's distill this entire deep dive into a single grounding takeaway.
You don't need to reach level 4 to be highly successful in 2026.
Pick your specific lane based on your actual career goals. Stick to just 2 or 3 core tools for everything. Build your personal systems very slowly and deliberately.
Ignore the daily social media noise completely. It will just distract you from doing real, impactful work.
Focus on stacking these simple Lego blocks of data one at a time. Establish your base layer firmly before moving up the chain.
Just pick one single manageable skill from today's roadmap.
Refining a highly structured deep prompt. Setting up a basic local workflow on your laptop. Test it out for yourself before the day is over.
Get your hands dirty in the actual software. That is how you actually retain the knowledge.
As these agentic systems take over the friction of our daily work, doing all the logical heavy lifting,
Yeah.
what happens to the premium we place on human intuition? When execution becomes free, maybe having a unique perspective becomes the most valuable asset in the world.